Network Entertainment.
The physical representation is more often than not burnt out.
Okay.
And yung tinatamad ka ng pumasok.
No motivation.
No motivation.
Right.
Or pag dumating yung sweldo, sasabihin mo, buti na lang may sweldo. Or buti na lang I'm getting paid well.
Okay.
When it starts, the conversation in your head or the dialogue starts to become like that.
Right.
Then medyo sign na yon na there is a shift.
Right.
Yeah. There is a shift within na nag-start siyang mag-surface. So for the other generations, the values tend to be financial security, buying stability, buying a house.
Right.
Now, millennials and Gen Zs, the priorities are about freedom, independence, creativity. And so that influences the decision that they make in terms of their career.
Hi, this is Mirza Season. Welcome to You Can Do This, a podcast that'll help you achieve your dreams and goals one episode at a time. What are you waiting for? Let's go!
You've got the job, the title, the recognition, but you're feeling burnt out, unfulfilled, or disconnected. Despite checking all the boxes of what success is supposed to look like, and yet it's never enough, and you feel like you need to prove your worth over and over again just to keep up with expectations. If you keep asking yourself, is this really what I want? And you don't feel at peace with yourself, this episode is for you. Today's expert is an executive and life coach, lawyer, and former prosecutor who knows exactly what that pressure feels like. After years of pushing herself to the limit and wrestling with anxiety, she shifted careers in her mid-40s and now helps people break free from that cycle and define success on their own terms as they achieve their personal and professional goals. As an involved mom to a child with special needs, she deeply values intentional living and making a positive impact. Please welcome back to the show, coach and attorney Anthea Magpantay.
Hi, Mirza.
Hello.
Thanks for having me again.
Thank you for coming back.
I love the new studio.
Yes, isn't it wonderful?
Yeah, new vibes.
Yes.
Matching ako, matching.
Oo nga, tama. So, how are you? How have you been since you last guested on the show?
I'm good. Coaching has been a big part of really my career. No, when I was here, I think almost 2 years ago.
You were still practicing
I was
law.
just transitioning. I was like
Right.
beginning of the transition. Now I
Right.
would say I have fully transitioned into coaching, facilitating. I still do legal stuff, but I'm very choosy.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's not the bulk.
Right.
Yeah.
How we'd all love to be very choosy. But we'll get there after this episode, perhaps. So let me just ask you, what does success mean to you today? And how did it change from earlier in your life and even maybe your childhood? I remember in our last conversation, you said, bata ka pa lang, parang ginugroom ka na maging lawyer.
Yeah. So success used to be, I'd admit, like many Filipino children,
Right.
about pleasing their parents.
Yes,
Yes.
correct.
So really pleasing parents and the society's expectations of what a good child
Yes.
would be. So initially I was being primed to be a doctor because my parents are both doctors.
Right.
And then when I was struggling with some of the maths, actually, I realized, maybe let's do something else. And truly, I really wanted to take up psychology.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
psychology or international relations. But then my parents said, candidly, but syempre, parents are parents. They would say, alam mo, if you're not gonna be a doctor, might as well be a lawyer.
Okay.
And so that was how I became a lawyer.
Okay.
Because my parents said, it's either you're not doing this, so you're doing that.
Right.
So there's an example of me just basically following my parents'
Right.
expectations. And surprisingly, I did well naman in law school. So I stayed on and then took the bar and passed. But part of me was like, ito pa talaga yung gusto ko? And eventually, I kind of figured, that was my first turning point. Mirza,
Okay.
parang
How old were you then?
I was 26.
And already a lawyer.
And I had just passed the bar.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I asked myself, what type of lawyer do I want to be? And then I got coaching.
Okay.
And so that helped me clarify. Lawyer na ako eh, di ba? So at least here, this is the phase I get to choose
Right.
what kind of lawyer I was gonna be.
Right.
And the expectation then, another example of expectation was that since I graduated from Ateneo Law, most of my classmates were going corporate.
Right.
But because I discovered through coaching my core values or what I really wanted, I ended up working for government, which was, I was a minority at that time.
Right. Right. And then what happened?
And so I became a government lawyer, for the Office of the Ombudsman for quite some time, then took my master's. And then as we grow older, things change, priorities change.
Right.
And that really helps you take stock of what matters to you. And so that's what usually happens. I'll talk about that later, where you kind of have this feeling, internal struggle. You start feeling, ito ba talaga yung gusto ko?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So those questions arise. What other questions arise that show signs of parang unease about one's this life decisions?
The physical representation is more often than not burnt out.
Okay.
Okay, the
right.
physical
Right.
representation, and yung tinatamad ka ng pumasok.
No motivation.
No motivation.
Right.
Or pag dumating yung sweldo, sasabihin mo, buti na lang may sweldo. Or buti na lang I'm getting paid well.
Okay.
When it starts, the conversation in your head or the dialogue starts to become like that,
Right.
then medyo sign na yon na there is a shift.
Right.
Yeah. There is a shift within na nag-start siyang mag-surface.
Right. So why is it important to define success on our own terms rather than just following our parents' expectations or society? And is this a new thing? Like in our generation, parang wala masyadong questioning, di ba?
Yeah. So, careers used to be so linear.
Right.
Na parang, okay, this is the next step.
Straight path lang.
Puro straight path. But nowadays, millennials and Gen Z, most especially,
Right.
are taking a less linear approach to their careers.
Right.
And it's because their values have started to change as well.
Right.
So for the other generations, the values tend to be financial security, buying stability, buying a house.
Right.
Now, millennials and Gen Zs, the priorities are about freedom, independence, creativity. And so that influences the decision that they make in terms of their career.
Right. So you now help others navigate their life and career transitions. Is there a commonality or a pattern that you see amongst their struggles when they question the success that they've worked so hard for?
The pattern usually is when the clients come to me, they're usually burnt out.
Yes.
So there's a physical manifestation of that. They're not sleeping well or they're very anxious. Although my clients tend to also see medical professionals.
Okay.
So because that's a completely different arena.
Okay.
What I discuss with my clients is more of what can they do now, like practical strategies and how do they start planning for their next steps in their career. Kung yung pa yung career na gusto nila.
Right.
No, when you come to me naman as a coach, it's not my agenda for you to change careers, but to just help you discover, ito pa ba yung gusto mo or ano ba talaga yung gusto mo, ganyan.
Okay. So hindi ang point of seeing you is not para mag-resign.
No.
Because sometimes when I give workshops and talks to companies, they're like, baka naman lahat magre-resign.
Hindi naman.
Do they usually, syempre iba-iba case-to-case basis, know what they want to do next or sometimes they're lost?
Good question, no? So for my clients, which is very related to our topic, I usually have an exercise that we do, and it's called uncovering values exercise.
Right.
So we do this in the first few sessions, and this becomes their personal compass
Right.
in deciding their next steps.
Okay.
So yeah,
So it gives clarity about what's important to them.
Yeah.
Okay.
because success has shifted from the external affirmation, like from parents, from
Right.
society,
Right.
to more personal, like what matters to you,
Right.
what really matters to you.
And do most of them know?
Good question. Alam mo, interestingly, when I start asking, what matters to you, napapatigil sila. Kasi they're so used to being asked, what matters?
Okay.
Or what's important?
Right.
But when you add that two words,
To you.
what matters to you, what's important to you, napapatigil sila and they really start digging deep.
Okay. And in your case, what was that process of digging deep like? Like at what point and how was the process of your determining, wait a minute, what matters to me ba? And you mentioned that your priorities changed.
Yeah. So when my son got his diagnosis, so he's on the spectrum. I was still with government and I was earning a good amount of money and I had the tenure, right? But after the diagnosis, I started asking myself, what matters to me? And then, lalabas yun eh. So, what matters to me is financial stability that the work provides, and then family, of course, work-life balance. And then I started to rank it.
Okay.
So when you start coming up with your values or what's important to you, it's important to start ranking the values.
Right.
Because not all values are equal. And I came up with the realization that my son's development mattered to me the most.
Right. Number one. Siya.
That was number one. And the other thing that I did when I realized that, because raising a son with special needs, it's not cheap. It requires a lot of resources, right?
So financial is also a priority.
financial. So there was this debate in my head, like, how will I make this work? And the realization was, which will be like one of my tips, if I summarize it, is to know what's enough for you. So I really had to sit down and do the math.
Right. Like an amount.
Like an amount. No? Parang what is enough money for me to say that I am supporting the needs of my son, or
Right.
and know then what is enough time for me to say that I am supporting his development and I'm being there. So when I had those numbers, I started to realize that being in the office was not congruent to the numbers that I came up with.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And so what did you do?
And so I sat down with my husband, did the math, and then did the math and the projections of what could potentially come out of my new career, and decided that we could make it work.
Right.
Yeah. But it was not easy, Mirza. I would say that the people around me, like immediate, my circle, were quite shocked with the decision to shift careers,
Right.
especially with the background. I even took an LLM, a Master's of Law.
Right.
So parang Master's. So parang medyo odd na biglang na-decide mo, hindi ka na magiging full-time practicing lawyer. It was an
Right.
odd, it was pretty odd.
And I'm sure this is something that your clients and people in general grapple with. Like, sayang naman, di
Yeah.
ba? I remember that when I was already an editor, a former schoolmate of mine met with one of our account executives, and then she told our account executive, sayang naman si Mirza. Sinayang niya yung statistics degree niya. Sana nag-ascend siya sa corporate ladder. Pero ngayon, editor lang siya.
I love it.
So, nung nakadating sa akin, natawa lang ako kasi siguro secure na naman ako sa life path ko. But for most people, I guess this is a big fear. And what do you want to say to address those fears of the sayang naman comments? And you said like your immediate circles.
Yeah,
were shocked.
yeah. And I actually answered it,
Okay.
Yeah, kasi he would say it to my face.
Oh, what did they say? Sayang naman yung
Sayang
law.
naman, law degree mo.
Right.
Sayang naman yung income na iniwan mo. And I actually told them that this is what I projected myself 5 years from now.
Right.
And I asked myself, it's like self-coaching. I asked myself, what would I regret more 5 years
yun.
from now?
Tama.
Would it be resigning and spending more time with my child and doing coaching which I love, or the other thing,
Right.
the opposite thing? And I realized that I would regret more staying in the office, earning my set income, my stable income,
right.
knowing that no one was supervising closely my child.
Right.
Mas i-regret ko yon 5 years down the road.
Right.
And I also asked my clients that, parang 5 years down the line, how do you envision yourself? And what do you think would you have more regrets on,
Right.
if any?
Right.
Yeah.
And once it is clear to them, how do you empower them with the courage to, abide by those decisions
Well,
in the face of like blah, blah, blah,
sayang,
blah.
sayang. Well, for clients, syempre, it's in a process of questions, right? So, but I'll just share na lang
Sige.
how I dealt with it.
Okay.
So with me, what I did was, I told myself, this is a phase.
That's a good one.
This is a choice that I'm making for this phase in my life.
Right.
And it's not permanent because everyone has the ability to choose differently. And here comes, kung gusto ko naman talagang bumalik,
Ayun.
kaya ko naman eh. Diba? I know that with my CV, I can return,
Right.
or with my educational background. But this is my choice at this moment because it aligns with my core values and my priorities. Right. But what empowers me to move forward is that, kasi may anxiety nga ako, di ba? Always thinking about the future, ganyan. So, iniisip ko, kaya huwag mo masyado isipin yung future because find comfort in the fact that that skill set is there.
Right.
It's never gonna go away. The education is never gonna go away. Your network is not gonna go away. It's just parang on hold or parang nandyan lang siya. And 5 years down the line, kung mag-iba na naman yung priorities, you can pull out of that bag and start doing something new. It's like a muscle. You just have to always convince yourself that you have that skill. So transitioning is hard, but if you keep on doing that baby steps dun sa transition journey mo, you're going to get used to it eventually.
Right.
Hi, guys. We are the Eavesdrop Podcast. My name is Francesca.
My name is Jelly.
This is Delamar.
This is Jude. What's up?
Yeah, and we are inviting you to check us out, your fellow TPN podcast.
And if you want to learn more about life, what's happening around us, you want to know about love, healing, this is the podcast you should be listening to.
Eavesdrop, 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 eavesdrop. Sometimes we get drunk and do the show. Those are the fun ones.
Like today,
Ooh, why? Who's drunk?
Like right now.
you're red as a bug.
Am I? Eavesdrop, please catch it. 4 hosts going crazy. You'll have fun. You'll cry. Everything else. So please check it out. The Eavesdrop.
Only on the Pod Network.
Especially in our society, it's so hard to, because people tie success to titles, positions, awards, material possessions, milestones, diba? Makabili ng kotse, makabili ng bahay, makabili ng lupa. How can we start letting go of that attachment and those metrics for success? And must we?
Yeah, that's the good question.
Right.
No? Must we let go? My personal stance is that I started letting go when I knew it was getting in the way
Of
of what was important to me. So if the big house is not getting in the way, if you're still getting 8 hours of sleep, if your demanding corporate job is still giving you joy and motivation and the sense of purpose, then go ahead. If the title is giving you a sense of pride, go ahead. But if it's starting to get in the way, meaning you're losing sleep over it, or your mortgage is too much and you need to work yourself to the ground, then you ask yourself, worth it pa ba yun? Yeah.
Right. This must be hard for high achievers.
Yes. It's really hard. So I have a client that transitioned from stable job to going back to become a student.
Oh, okay.
Yes, to take up higher learning or masters. And so the struggle was really real because it's always been, I have this title in this organization, and then suddenly I'm an international student. Nobody knows
Right.
who I am or fully understands
Wala nang
what I'm
perks.
capable of. I'm just like everybody else.
Yeah.
And there was a struggle. And she come to realize through coaching that this is, again, just a phase.
Okay.
This is just a phase that she's there to experience herself differently. It's not about the title. The reason why she's doing the higher learning more than the title is really for her to experience herself living in another country
Okay.
and being more independent. Yeah, but of course there's always a struggle because you're shedding a part of your identity. It's just a part. I always remind them that, especially if you have a previous career, that will always be a part of you.
Yeah.
So, a bit of it lang naman yung nashe-shed. Oo, hindi naman parang totally, hindi ka na educated, or hindi ka na abogado, or hindi ka na editor. You're
But then the reward naman is
It's completely different. Yeah. And you're more intentional. So the results are more parang masaya kasi you really intended to do that shift or achieve that new goal.
Right.
Although the goal may not be a title, for example.
Right. And what is the feeling or state of being at ease and at peace once you've redefined success? I guess wala nang burnout.
Yeah, wala nang
Makakatulog ka na.
Yeah, wala nang burnout. And even if it's difficult, because it will be.
Yes.
Because when you believe in something, you value something,
Right.
you tend to fight for it. You fight for the wellness of the welfare of your family. If you are an activist, for example, you fight for what is good and what is right.
Right.
But even if you are fighting, you feel fulfilled.
Right.
And you feel that the price you're paying, the puyat or the hirap, is worth it.
Right.
Because you're completely aligned with your values. So, another term here is alignment. You know that when you feel aligned, you're more at peace and you're not naman chill. Kasi I don't believe naman that chill is the goal.
Right.
No? Chill is not the goal.
Right.
But just a sense of I'm at the right place doing the right thing, even if it's not easy.
Right. And now you're going to give us your tips, practices, or habits, steps that they can take if they want to start living more in alignment with their values and less on expectations of parent, society, and whatnot.
So my first tip is clarify and define your CV.
CV.
Yes. Pag fresh graduate ka, inaayos mo yung CV mo, yung curriculum Vitae? Ano pa yun?
Wutay.
Oo, sabi ng Google, daming pronunciation.
May Latin,
Tin
may English.
may British. So, CV. So, when you are at the crossroads, start assessing then your core values. Start
The other CV.
the other CV, your
Right,
core
right.
values. So, examples of these are integrity, abundance ba ang value mo, work-life balance, peace, service, contribution. Yan yung mga example. Ikaw, Mirza, what are the values that
Happiness,
you hold
integrity, empowerment.
Yes,
mga
yan, ganyan.
empowering others.
Yes. So, yung
And
mga-
joy.
Yes, joy. So, pag ni joyful, no na yon. So, yon. So, define, clarify your CV. In your case, your values.
Right.
No? Because this is the backbone.
Right.
Yeah. And then, second is know your P. Yan. Not your pay, kundi yung magkano ka babayaran, but know your priorities.
Right.
What your current priorities are. And for both your CV and your P, your priorities, I invite people to rank them.
Right.
Just so that they know which ones are the more important
So
ones.
they cannot be equal.
More often than not, hindi siya equal.
Okay.
Oo, more often than
Kasi
not.
may magsasuffer.
Merong mas drawn ka.
Okay.
I wouldn't say suffer, pero
Okay,
mas
okay.
drawn ka lang. Yeah, but like if you're offered a job, yung isa masaya, yung isa may contribution sa empowerment, you are more drawn
Right.
to one more than the other, right? So
Right,
yung isa,
right.
kahit hindi masyado masaya yung work, pero nakaka-empower ng others, mas go ka doon, right? So parang
tama.
something like that.
Right.
May rank. And then, third is know what is enough for you. What does that mean? Enough money, enough personal time, enough time for your family, if that's a thing, enough work hours for you. What is your standard of enough?
Right.
Not people's standard of enough. Yung sa'yo lang. Know what's enough for you. Because studies show na, for example, in the US, there's a study na yung pag nag-increase yung income mo from, for example, $100,000 to $500,000, malaki yung itinataas ng happiness scale index mo. Pero sabi nila, pag yung 10 million naging 50 million, halos wala na masyadong impact sa happiness.
Right.
That's based on study. I'm not sure what the exact numbers are. Parang ganon.
Kaya yung mga billionaires, hindi sila happy.
Wala na masyadong itinataas yung parang nagsisiling
Right,
na agad.
right.
Kahit madoble pa yung bilyones nila, wala na sila masyadong isasaya pa.
Okay.
Parang konti na lang.
Okay.
So from the initial jump.
So kailangan specific amounts of time and money. Hindi yung, to live comfortably. How specific must the metric be? Like in your case, you really had to
I
compute.
really had to compute. For
Kasi
me.
may mga babayarin. Diba?
Yes. So, I would highly encourage people to put a number.
Right.
To put a number on it. Because without a number, there will be relentless pursuit of the promotion
Right.
or of and that means more hours at work. So, mag-trickle down yun eh. But if you have a number, for example, my goal is an average income of, let's say, 4 million in a year, that kind of signals, okay, I've reached this. Are there other things in my life
Right.
that I can take care of? Ganyan. Because my fourth tip would be to see success in a holistic manner. Because life is like a wheel, right? No, we have this in coaching. Now
Wheel of life.
we have a wheel of life. And so when one is when the wheel is so lopsided, it's not gonna turn smoothly.
Right.
And this is based in psychology, that we need to address different kinds of needs sa sarili natin. Society, our physical needs, our spiritual needs, ganyan. So yon. So it's important to have a holistic approach to success. I invite my clients to see it that way, but not when you do the will kasi makikita mo na agad yun eh.
Right.
Without telling a client na, what do you think? Parang,
Right.
they just see it na,
Yeah.
okay, there's something I need to work on.
Okay. Okay.
And then, my last tip would be, so that we wouldn't be so focused on what others say.
Yeah. I think that's number one.
Oh, number one is to really focus on your personal experience and to focus on how you can contribute to others. What I mean by that is mag-focus sa impact and contribution sa sarili mong buhay at sa buhay ng iba versus yung tingin lang nila sa'yo. So more than opinion, ask yourself, what can I do for others?
Right. Does this come naturally to most people, especially when they're younger?
Not really.
Diba? Pag when you're younger, parang di mo naman iniisip yung to others.
Yes. Hindi mo talaga masyado iniisip. Unless you went to a school na may pangan for others. Sorry.
Your school.
My school, ganyan. Oo. Hindi siya top of mind. But there's also a study that says that when you're falling into a slump,
Right.
start doing volunteer work.
Right.
Or just go out there and do things for other
Right,
people
right.
because the focus na Alicia,
Shifts.
it shifts.
Okay.
It shifts. So I highly encourage people to, my friends,
Right,
not
right.
necessarily my clients, but to pursue goals that have a positive impact and contribution
Right.
to others. Even choosing, it can be volunteer work
Right.
or even a job.
Yeah.
So if you're, for example, if you have 2 job offers, no, one it's just for money,
Right.
right? Just for money and the title itself. And another job has money, has title, but at the same time, it's an organization that allows you to
Impact others.
impact others in a positive way.
Right.
I think that for your long-term happiness or peace, the latter
Right.
would be healthier.
Right.
Because hindi naka-anchor lang
Right.
yung success mo on the earning and the title. It's meron pang ibang factor that's more of outside
Right.
yourself. But of course, you experience yourself din naman as a kind person and a generous person. Yan.
Right. So for our listeners now who are confused or tired or unsure about what does success mean anymore, what's your most important message or takeaway for them?
My most important takeaway from them is it's okay if you don't know what success is.
Oh,
for
that's a
you.
relief. Okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. Hindi siya madaling alamin.
Okay. Okay. Good to know.
Parang give yourself some time to figure it out.
Right.
Because success in itself is already pressure.
Yeah.
Na, the reason nga
The
you're being
word.
anxious around it because pinipressure mo yung sarili mo to figure it out. Right? So, my first tip is to give yourself the grace and understand yourself na, okay, I don't have this figured out yet.
Right.
Yeah, that's one. Second is to start really asking yourself if people's opinions didn't matter, what truly matters to me.
Right.
So, and start from there and try to create balance between parang try to align your priorities and your values. Because your priority can be external. So for example, your priority is to provide for your family. That's your priority. External yon. And then you have a value of creativity. So you have to find a way where your creativity can support the priority of providing for your family, for example.
Right.
So it's a whole process. Yeah. I would say, for me, the transitions usually take 3 to 6 months.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yung just really trying to be clear.
The inner work.
The inner work that
Right.
it takes for you to be clear on your new metrics
Right.
take a while. It's around 3 to 6 months.
Right. And you mentioned that the word itself adds pressure. So what if someone is really like super chill and says, oh, okay na ako dito. Okay na ako sa ginagawa ko. Parang, is that a redefinition of success? If they are at peace and they're like, well, I don't want to reach the top. I'm fine the way I am. I'm happy.
If to them their value is to have time for themselves and their values
Right.
is to be, relaxed,
Uh-uh.
and then that's success for
Right.
them because it's aligned with what their values are. And if their priority is to sleep 9 hours a day, o di,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Who are we to
Who are we
judge?
to judge? Go ahead, right?
Oo.
Go ahead. As long as you're not harming anyone and it's not getting in the way of your well-being, then go ahead. And yun na nga, these are phases. They say that you will, depende sa phase ng life mo, you will start redefining success for you. Also with age, it comes with age.
Right,
There's a-
right.
parang may sinasabi nila sa every 7 years or every 10 years, you start to reassess.
Right.
Especially for females, I think it's more apparent. Because the roles
Yes.
change for females.
And expectations.
Also, and expectations.
Right.
At home and in the workplace as well. Yeah.
Right. So for you personally, what version of success are you proud of today? Even if it's not conforming to traditional boxes.
My version of success. My personal version of success is that I'm able to say yes to the things I want to do.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
that.
That is my version of success.
Yes.
Yeah. So if I have the freedom to do and say yes to the things I want to do, for me, successful na ako.
Right. Without being napipilitan.
Yeah,
or,
without being napipilitan.
Or no choice.
Yeah. For me. Kasi, yun ang important. I think that's encompassing, whether personal or professional. Yeah. Because every time you say yes to something, you are saying no to something. And so, for me, for as long as I have the ability and the freedom to say yes to the things that I like, then that's success for me.
Great.
Because not everyone has the
Yeah.
freedom to
Yeah.
do that. And it takes work, meaning
Right.
you need to have a certain level of confidence and to be practical, ipon.
Yes.
You need
Importante yun.
yun, financial independence then for you to be confident enough to say yes to the things you want and say no
To those that you don't.
to no. Yeah.
Right. Great. I love that definition. Thank you, Thea. And where can people find out more about your coaching and your work?
Yeah. So I am on dito na ba?
Yes. Ito na.
I am on LinkedIn. Yes, for the professionals who are looking for an executive and life coach. I'm on LinkedIn, Anthea Magpantay. And then I'm also on Facebook and on Instagram. Both same lang yung name. Anthea Magpantay.
Thank you so much and hope to see you again.
Yes, hope to see you again.
All right.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
Thank you for listening to You Can Do This. If you want to know more about me, visit Mirza.com. That's MYRZA.com. And follow me at Mirza Season on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you like this episode, please don't forget to rate it 5 stars. Hit the follow button on your podcast streaming platforms and hit the notification bell to get alerted every time we release a new episode. Catch you at our next convo, and always remember, you can do this.
The opinions of podcast creators, hosts, and guests are not necessarily reflective of the official stance of the Pod Network Entertainment, its hosts, or other network programs. The content created by the people behind the podcast is personal and not meant to harm any religion, ethnicity, group, organization, company, or individual.